Pooney. This is Big Art Quest number 11. I'm going to explain mediums to you. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hi, how you doing?
He's going to be following me with the cameras and also reading your comments. So if you have a pressing question about mediums or just life in general, we are here for you.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
I may not have life in general answers. I've got a lot of medium answers, though. So, keep that in mind when lobbing questions. We're going to be covering mediums. I think this is probably the art quest I'm maybe the most excited about.
Okay, well, it's the one that I know the least about. What is a medium?
What is a medium? This is really fun. More information is in the description below. But basically what you have in paint is you have mediums and you have additives. Okay. Mediums and additives cover a very large umbrella of sub-activities that we have in art.
Okay.
Mediums are professionally made to alter your paint in a predictable way. And it's a huge cadre of products. I actually made a mistake like when I was putting I had an iCard issue when I was even doing the vote, which was not me not understanding mediums, it's me not understanding iCards. Right? There's actually gels are a medium. Gesso is a medium. All those things that we use to prepare surface, to alter paint, to work with our paint that are made by chemists in a factory, those are mediums. And what they do is you add them to your paint to get a particular result. And that's the biggest thing that's going on in the art store, I think, that people walk by that wall and they're like, yeah, I got no idea here. You might pick up a couple. There's some curious shopping I'll see. I'm always in the art store seeing someone just looking at the wall and the cards with the demos, just trying to understand how would this even relate to what they were doing in their art. So this is the big thing I really want to break down deep into the quest, because whether you're a painter or maybe you're a multimedia art journaler, right? Whatever you've got going on in your art practice, this is really going to blow it up for you. Especially, I feel, for the art journalers.
Yeah.
Right? Because you guys get for sale for like $8 a sample size for what I would get for the same product in my side of the aisle.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if people even know that. Because I was like over in the beautiful mixed media section of the craft store, little tiny things of gesso, right? And I looked at them and they're not on par with golden for the price. Like, I get my giant tubs.
Your giant tubs.
My giant tubs. So this might be one of those things where you can really kind of break it up in whatever your art practice is as, quickly as you can. So, yeah, mediums are preparation. Mediums affect drying time. Mediums affect body, in other words, how thick or thin the paint is, whether it's really sticky crazy or whether it's nice and smooth. Mediums affect iridescent and texture. So there's fluidity mediums, there's effects mediums, there's preparation mediums. We've all done gesso. I have 3 mediums. I'm going to say this right off the bat, and, this is the stuff that you need to know, like, urgently. I think at any level of art, you need to have gesso. I think gloss medium and varnish is great, or some type of varnish, right? Yeah. And a gel to build up the body of your paint. And that covers it. Now, the nice thing about gels, right? So this is a tub of gloss gel.
Okay.
Right, gloss gel.
Hold on, let me go over here. Switch buttons.
Switchy.
Oh, wait, look, I didn't hit the control button. There it goes.
There it goes. Okay.
Flip it over.
So, glossy gels, right? So
Glossy
this nice
gel.
little tub, 237 milliliters, and this is the smaller tub, right? So what this does, it has a list of instructions and things on the back, right? This is flexible. In other words, as you add it to your paint, what is your paint not going to do? It's not going to crack. It's not going to break down. Everything in these jars is designed to keep your paint attached to the canvas. Additives.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so
this is stuff that you go out and you decide to put into your paint yourself. So if you're in the forest and you think to yourself, this tree moss would look amazing in my painting, and there's some brilliant artists that do things like this, that's an additive. If you're like at the beach and you're grabbing sand and you're putting it into your paint, the issue with additives for the artists, not that they're good or bad. Here's the only thing that you've got to be thinking about when you're adding stuff to your paint is how much of this stuff can I add before my paint falls off the canvas?
Oh, yeah, binding issues.
Huge binding issues.
I can totally see that, binding.
Right. And so, like, if you're really drilled down into your paint and your chemistry and you've figured out exactly where your cutoff mark is for your beach sand, you can be like, my whole thing is to collect these different types of beach sand and put it into my painting. There's a very famous artist here in Houston that adds the ashes from the crematorium into his paint.
Not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all, but also like quite a technical challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whenever I see his work, I'm always like, wow, like there had to be a lot of study to figure out because I understand what went into figuring out what would keep the artwork on the canvas. But the thing is like you can get sand as a medium, which means you can add sand to your stuff all day and your paint is never falling off the canvas. Probably. Unless you do something really new.
There's got to be a threshold of sand to paint ratio. I'm sure you can.
No, because you could put just the straight sand on of the medium of sand, which is a jar with this like goo in it and there's a bunch of sand in it and you can just do that.
Oh,
the other thing is that at the art store you'll find sometimes little jars of additives, gravels and substructures and textures.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're both real art practices. They just have different predictability for you, especially as a new artist. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to for sure cover each of these sections because I think that knowing what each of these things is,
okay,
right, and being able to go in there and be like, oh, I got it, because there's a whole bunch of stuff to slow down the drying of your paint. This is palette wetting spray. That's about slowing down the drying of your paint. This is Flow Aid. This is actually not about slowing down the drying of your paint. It's about improving the way the paint disperses from your brush to the canvas. Each of these things has a real specific job. My next thing I want to answer, because I know it's going to be a question, is the student grade gel the same as the pro grade gel?
Okay, yeah.
No. No, it is really not. But here's the thing, right? You still have to deal with your budget. So as long as you know it's not going to give you quite the result that the pro gel is, right? And you know it's going to maybe extend your paint, and you know it might hold the body. It may not build the body as much as, or anywhere near as much as, say, Golden Heavy Body Gel. Golden or Liquitex Heavy Body Gel, I'm going to put paint into it. It's going to really build up thick textures. You know all those paintings everybody's loving right now with the really thick flowers and things? These are about the paste. These are about the gels.
Gotcha.
And so what that does when you have a heavy body gel, when I have where's my heavy body gel? This right here. This gloss gel, which is a medium body, right?
Yeah.
It's not the heavy. This is not going to shrink as it dries.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is. So I mix the paint into it. I'm going to demo this, right? Because this is one of those ones that I think that you should have, right? I would open my jar from the art store and I would say to myself, well, I have this very expensive paint and I want to use it, right? Maybe that might be a question I would have as an artist. I'm going to get my palette knife out, get a little gel out. See that?
Yeah.
Look at that, how it holds the body. Guess what that does on my canvas? Dries exactly like that.
Yeah.
The heavier the body, the more it'll hold that shape.
Wow.
Now, this can save me a ton of money on paint if I'm buying more expensive paints. If it's gloss, right, and it's...
Can you pull that over to the center of the camera there just a little bit?
Just tell me where to put this.
You're
right here?
Perfect. Right where your coffee cup was.
So I'm just mixing this in
No
with
paint in the coffee.
No paint in the coffee. Right?
Now,
look at that.
Wow. It doesn't it would seem that it would dilute it more.
It does dilute it, but it also extends it. And here's what's happening. Now, this is a gloss, so it'll add a slight transparency and shine to the finish of my paint.
Yeah.
Right? So there you go. Really get this off my knife and build up a bead. I love my knives. Beads are so fun. This is it's like if you frost a cake, you're now into your territory.
Yeah.
So here you see this body and it's extended this paint. I didn't put out that much paint and look how much paint I have now.
Yeah.
right? This can also add some gemmy and translucent effects. It can add some beautiful seeing through effects where you can see layers underneath. There's a lot you can get out of playing with your gel. And again, it can extend your paint. Now, in gel, you're going to see them come in gloss and matte.
Right.
That's really simple there. One is glossy and sort of see-through, and one is matte and is not, right? The mediums from the pro companies are designed to not impact the color of your paint. That's their whole thing. So if you get this gloss gel medium, it's not going to impact the color of your quinacridone red. It's going to leave it quinacridone. It's not going to tint it or tone it or alter it in some way.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Yeah.
If you get matte, same thing, but it won't be translucent. So a lot of times artists will like matte. Matte's a little harder to get to. Gloss, medium, and varnish. It's one of the ones I recommend to you guys.
So
I should have a jar of that around because I always have a jar.
So we had a question here.
I have an answer.
When using sand as an additive, now should that go directly on the canvas, or would you be better mixing it with
it goes
a gel medium?
into the paint. Oh, okay. So your sand medium or your sand additive.
Okay, so what they asked,
I would put my sand additive first into my medium and then add my paint.
Okay, so you would use all three of those things.
I would personally use all three in an effort to stabilize the sand.
Makes sense.
Though there are artists that put it right into the paint.
You could just put some sand directly into the paint.
I think go to Golden's website because they have a formula for this, and I'm sure they've tested it out. I think Just Paint has the formula for this. It's 25%. I'm just pulling off that's my memory of it. That's what I feel like it is. I'm pretty sure I get pretty good high grades in testing. I'm pretty sure it's 25% is about what you can add to your pro paint.
Yeah.
Not your craft paint.
But a pro paint.
But a pro paint. By the way, here's what's funny. I can use any of these mediums with my craft paint.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I imagine that that will pigment those, but you're going to have how is it going to be as far as like it's mixing? It's still going to have all the same qualities.
It's all the same qualities of your craft paint. There's just more of it in a heavier body. So like say I have craft paint, which is a soft body paint, and I put it in a heavy body gel. What have I done with my craft paint?
You now have a heavy body craft paint.
Now I say this to you art journalers at home. Isn't that kind of exciting? Right? So I'm painting with my Deco artist paints that I love. I don't want to go out and buy a bunch of heavy body paints, but I'd like a heavy body texture. Right? I don't want to buy a teeny tiny jar that's as expensive as it could possibly be. Just walk over to the painter's aisle and get your heavy body gel.
Gotcha.
That's all you got to do, and it's going to work with those products.
Okay.
And there's these different things. Like one of the things that I'm a real fan of, this is an acrylic ground for pastels.
Ooh.
Is this the right one?
Why do you turn it upside down? I can fix your camera.
Is this right? Okay. So this is amazing because I can put this on a canvas. Right?
Yeah.
Anything. I can do pastels, oils, and acrylics now.
Yeah.
Together. I have one of these absorbent ground for watercolor that goes on a canvas, which means I can do watercolor.
Now, I have to say,
acrylics and oils.
The
together.
acrylic grounds come in a much larger container than the watercolor grounds.
No, that was a sample.
Oh.
It was a sample. That's why I was saying the sample sizes.
That makes
My
more
sample
sense.
sizes, when I go see a company and they give me a sample, it is what I'm seeing in the full sizes over in the mixed media part of the craft store. So that's my saving money tip is go see if there is a equivalent media over in the art side. It may be a bigger jar.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at it per cost per ounce. If it's something you think you're going to use a lot, unless you really like teeny tiny jars. Here's what I'll say about the mixed media jars. They're prettier.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. They're magical and delightful and prettier by a lot.
Okay, so we have to stop and say hello to our audience and our
hi
community.
guys.
They're all being like, so they're kind of hassling. They're like, art game. Tell
Art
about
game.
The hat. We like her hat.
All right, like my hat, and we have art game.
Yeah, and they want to first we'll say hi everybody. How you guys doing? We have a lot of repeat viewers, a lot of people coming back here today. They're all asking about Art Game. Wonderful moderators. Have to remember to say thank you to everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's stuff that my moderators are always reminding me to do. I have to.
Oh, and huge announcement for tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we're going to have a Google Hangout.
Oh.
That those of you that would like to join, we're going to post up some links before the broadcast on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, on my Facebook page and on the Heart Party page. And you guys can come be on the show a little bit.
We're going to figure out how to do that.
It's a test.
She told me about this about 20 minutes ago.
No, I just realized it'd be really fun. Like, a lot of times you guys have questions about paintings or you have kind of one-on-one stuff, and we don't really have that. And I was like, we could have that. So this is a great way to test that.
Well, I think we can do it.
We think we can do it.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's just another feed.
So if you're feeling brave,
yeah,
and we're going to have that. I think it only lets 10 people in the room at a time.
Yeah.
So we're going to be working out that, but it's the inaugural launch, and that's tomorrow for the viewer mail Q&A. You guys, if you have a painting you want to ask about, or if you have something you just want to talk about, or you have a direct question you want to ask, or an art story that you'd like to tell, seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, and remember, I'm gonna have to figure out how that works too, because like between now and then I have to.
Yeah, I love John. That's a lot of pre-production, sweetie.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Right.
Although it's like, I'm up for it though. Now,
I'm just enjoying this. Now I mixed up all that. Look how little paint I now have. Be a lot of paint.
That's a lot of paint.
Mm-hmm. You know what it's not going to do? Underbind.
No.
Nope. It's just a little more translucent. This is what I've upped as the translucency.
So, art game.
Art game.
We're supposed to start an art game.
I would love to start an art game. If you're brand new to the show, art game is this. We give you 5 words during a show, and you put them together in a doodle any way you want to, as imaginatively as you want to. The purpose of art game is to help you kind of unlock your creativity and not to take that creative process so seriously. I think we have that as kids, and we tend to lose that as, we sort of get through life and it's sort of pass-fail nature and all of that. Art game is a really great way to reclaim it, and even in my own practice, artists like to play art game because it gets us to lighten up.
Yeah.
We get a little drilled down in our own heads and our nonsense,
and really, just completion is a win here.
Yeah,
it's like
there's no judge the doodle.
Yeah,
all doodles are valid.
It's just about having fun, getting something up, and participating with everybody else who's playing art game too.
Yeah.
So, okay, first word of art game.
First word of art game.
I picked this time.
No, me.
Oh, okay.
Owl.
Owl. You did the owl. All right. My word will go with your word, though.
Oh, okay. So that's fantastic. You can post Art Game on the Art Game group on Facebook, or just anywhere on my page or the Heart Party page, or on artsherpa.com.
Yep.
Anywhere you want to share it. And there's a whole group of you playing. And I think sometimes Art Game goes on Skype, and there's groups that play live together.
Yes. You have to be aware that sometimes they go rogue.
They're rogue.
So your hat. They love the flowered hat. There is a lot of ladies are saying that they now know what they're going to be doing with their flower headbands and old army hats.
Yeah, I'm just like, it was a weird moment in my morning.
It was a blendy moment.
It was a blendy moment. It was a blendy moment. I'm going to put out my not my slow dry blending medium, gloss medium and varnish. I use this because it's a medium, it's a paint extender, and it's a varnish.
Yeah.
You guys have used this with me in the quest for the Grisaille.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And there's glazing medium and there's gloss medium. And if you guys have done both, you'll notice they're not exactly the same. But this does, I'm going to put a little of this out. I'm
going to say hi to all the little brushes out there.
Hi, little
Jessie
brushes.
And,
hi, Jessie.
We had the little brush whose show started, gosh.
You mean bedtime?
Yeah. Yep.
The bedtime brushes?
Yes. We had a bedtime brushes, and then we had Aurora, and...
I'm going to do some cadmium yellow light here.
Get some more cadmium yellow.
I'm putting out just that much cadmium yellow light.
I'm a sucker for saying hello to all of our little brushes out there, though.
Well, they're cute, and I like them. Hi, Wyatt.
Oh, yeah, Wyatt's there, too.
Hi, Wyatt. Wyatt dances.
He does.
He does. He's an amazing dancer and an amazing artist.
He dances much better than I do.
Now, you can mix this with the brush. All I'm saying is look at how much is there now.
Wow.
Now, the difference, and you can kind of see it right away, is it doesn't, look, it's flattening.
Brittany's bedtime.
Brittany's bedtime.
That's
and
what
I
it was.
think Crafty's sister in the iCard.
And we have some crafty twins around here too.
Do we have Crafty Twins in?
Well, not today, but I mean, just
okay.
generally
And there's,
speaking.
I mean, the Mastermind. There's a bunch of good shows.
Yeah, we have some.
So look at this. You can see that this levels. This is a self-leveling. So the difference between the gloss, medium, and varnish and this, right, is the way it holds body. I have in, because you guys, we're going to go over varnish again. We're going to have a whole varnish quest. But I have in the description, besides a link to gesso and gloss, medium, and varnish and heavy body gel, I also have a link, I believe, to a special varnish brush. Because I think the number one thing I'm hearing from you guys is challenging you is getting brush strokes in the varnish. And we're going to cover some of the things to prevent that. But in the meantime, it's a good brush. It may help with what you're doing on the brush-on varnishes, on smooth surface paintings. But we're going to talk about the spray and all. So that's what we're going to have. Next quest is going to be blending, slowing that drying time down. That's the number one question, though.
Oh, yeah?
I get. It's about how to slow this paint from drying. And here's the thing. The mediums I'm going to show you, you can put them in whatever paint you have. So you could have, like, say, Galleria acrylic. And maybe your Galleria acrylic is drying out really fast. Right? Are you okay? Okay. So your Galleria acrylic might be drying out really fast. You can put in a slow dry blending gel, any of the retarders. So whenever you, but this is not an additive. This is not a medium. And I have some in here. Okay, so what this is, John just handed me, if you're just interested, this is Golden Opens. They're slow drying acrylics. So Golden created a whole line of acrylics that are slow dry.
Yeah.
I actually think one of the benefits of acrylic is that they dry very quickly.
Yeah.
So for me,
But there's a lot of people who need.
But if you need that, and there's others though.
Yeah.
There's Golden, there's interactive paints. There's a whole series of paints that have slow drying agents in them. And listen, if you ever want samples or things like this, there's the Just Paint workshops. So if you have an art store, I haven't seen them at the Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but if you have an art store, Golden has little teachers that tour around and give lectures. Generally, the lectures are free. And if you go to the lecture, you get a bag of stuff.
With education in it.
With education in it. And it's
That's awesome.
You know, it's stuff like, we'll put this out. I always get this. They always give us the course modeling paste. And I just think to myself, well, that's just crazy for a new artist, but okay.
You try some of that?
So the course modeling paste has a sand in it. Right?
That's really pasty.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's like, I think
it'll
it's
dry
on the
like if I
side.
just leave it like that. It'll dry like this. If I were to load it into a frosting tip, I could frost my painting, which is the key to several of the painting effects that you see out there.
That's so neat.
Right? We're going to cover the effects. The effects will probably be like 3 quests. So guess what their quest is? Their mini quest, which I forgot to write in the description,
what's
but
the
I'm
mini
going to
quest?
add. Your mini quest is to post an art material that is a mystery to you.
Ooh.
That you're curious about, that you're like, what is this? That you want to know more, but you don't know what it is, or if you should know what it is, or if it just befuddles you, or any of that. Can you hear the sand?
Ooh, I can't.
Can you see it?
Art word, or art game word number 2.
Okay.
Book.
Book.
So we'll get
Book.
we have owl, and book. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. So see, this is
The sand.
yeah. Now the sand does impact the green a little bit,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it
but
looks
not as much when it dries. When it dries, it won't.
It looks creamier.
Well, I don't. You can come feel this. It's saying it. When they say coarse, what they mean is they've added a pumice or sand to the paste. You just put your finger in it. I don't know if you can see it. Can you feel it? You want a rag? So you can kind of see how these different, different things are impacting you. So definitely get pictures of those things that you're curious about. I know Sky's done some really cool. No, it's not Sky. Summer. His more coffee, Sherpa.
They like your mug.
This is Elmer from Uncommon Goods. I don't have a link for it, but I love him with the fire of 1,000 suns, and he has a matching bowl, which I don't have yet. Uh-oh, we forgot to... Live!
There it goes.
So you can see some colors. Oh, here's something else you might want to see. Can you mix these gels together?
Now, can you...
Yes, you can. You can mix this and this.
Oh, yeah.
You can mix gels, and look at this. I'm getting orange. What do you know?
And what happens if you mix orange and green?
Well, they're contrast, so you get a grayed out color.
But will it be a sandy grayed out color?
It will be there'll be more body in it, right?
Yeah. But you
Right,
can
but look what I could do here if I was painting.
Oh, nice, but they'll hold together.
Yeah,
They'll
these will
bond.
not separate. They won't break down. Mediums,
Nice.
not additives. Mediums can do that.
So now there's a question. Can you just...
And question Q&A time. Yes, Q&A.
So if you just take a handful of play sand, can you throw it into just the gel medium that you buy at the store, mix that up and use it?
You could. It
Okay.
would not be the same as a coarse medium.
Right, but they were just to be clear. Someone was in the audience was asking, can you just put
You
play
can.
sand?
You can.
You can put play sand into
Not more than
store-bought-
25%.
Yeah. Okay. And then it just
Yeah.
and you'd probably be okay. A store bought gel medium.
And a store-bought gel medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy also mica flakes and all kinds of things that you can put in your gel medium. And there's probably ways to push those percentages. Again, there's artists whose entire practice is specialized in this type of thing. Right? And they're constantly testing and pushing those boundaries and looking for ways to, break those rules but still stabilize the artwork. So there's information out there for you. There's an endless amount of information. I think our goal here is to just at the beginning of our art journey, even though we might be new to art, to be able to walk into the art store and go, oh, that's a coarse modeling paste. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, that might be really interesting in that beach painting that I was going to do as an effect on the sand. Now, what you guys might not know is like one of my favorite mediums ever is stucco by Liquitex.
Oh yeah.
And you put it on like the night before, and it dries overnight, and then when you paint on it, it gives you a watercolor effect. So when you're trying to do an aged wall, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. Pouring mediums are incredible. There's all kinds of mediums. Glass beads are so fun. And there's the whole thing of, see, here's another thing I can do. I can put this clear gel medium directly on my canvas, let it dry, and paint on top.
What happens if you put too much gel medium? What if you add in too much gel medium? Is it? Someone was asking, like, if you got too big of a dollop of gel medium to your paint, is that
You're
a
going to
problem?
have to add more paint
Just add
if
more
you
paint.
want a darker pigment. It's not like a problem. Your painting won't explode.
So you could just put straight gel medium on, and it would dry perfectly fine. Only it would be clear.
So, like, I could sit there, and if I wanted a highly textured canvas, I could put out all these textures, right, on my canvas first, and then paint on top of it.
Okay.
And then I get this kind of cool sort of stained glassing. But I can mix my paint in and then get that pigmented body.
So this clear gel could be mixed with, say, things like additives of glitter or other nonsense.
Oh, yeah. And you remember we saw those Amsterdam mediums at the show?
Oh, well, those are a special kind of fun, though.
Yeah.
Those were like
okay, so what happens with
glitter on a
glitter is you can add it into the medium and it will get in there. Sometimes I feel like it's better to buy the specialty medium. I'm never about just spending money just wantonly. But I am about result. And what I would say is, you can add it in and have fun with that. But the glitters, and when they put these mediums in, they get a micro glitter in that has refraction that's multifaceted. So no matter how you're painting, it's always sparkly.
Yeah.
It gives you the effect you feel like you want it in your head that sometimes just putting glitter in your gel won't do. I mean, we've got glitter, right? And another thing is sometimes the colorization on the foil of your glitter will bleed into the gel.
Ah, that's interesting to know.
Yeah. So that's whenever you do additives, you're always sort of up to having a surprise. When you do a medium, it's no surprise.
Now, can you varnish over the gels and mediums?
Yes, and that's such a good question. Thank you. Wait 4 to 5 days minimum.
Oh, really? Why would you wait?
Because here's what happens. So say I paint this beautiful impasto painting, and I've got these thick, thick, thick flowers. My mom's real famous for this. These thick,
Yeah.
thick, thick, thick flowers. The painting will have a skin that appears dry, but the core of the paint will be wet.
Oh, and it's still chemically reacting.
And it's still chemically reacting. If you put the varnish over, it creates your varnish will cloud,
Oh, yeah.
basically.
And
Or it
that's-
probably will cloud. Sometimes you get away with it, but really you're just lucky.
Now,
Lucky.
and the hotter your varnish is, the more it's likely to...
If you get into, I really try to be in the non-reactive varnishes, and we're going to talk about this. There's varnishes, they're hot, they're reactive, they're a chemical varnish, and they cure,
Yeah.
right? And then there's the stuff I can do, which just dries by air.
And it still is reacting. It's just reacting in a much different, slower way.
Yeah. One of them is going to put me on the ground dizzy and throwing up, and one of them is not. And I tend to go with the one that doesn't make me puke because I'm really reactive to certain chemicals. But sometimes you got to remember we did that shoot. We had to do that really good varnish.
Yep.
And I was like in the back of the room with the respirator going, good job, babe. Try to live. Because we had to have it be outdoors, and it was going to be in rain, and it was going to be in sun, and it was going to be beat down. And so we needed to have a mural varnish, a varnish that was specialized to the extreme weather that we can have in Houston, so that this art product would not be destroyed in 6 months. You know, though Debbie Reese did really good with that cement sealer, so you just never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes experimentation is valuable.
Yep, it's true.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Because our Q&A, and we need to give another word.
Hi, Lindsay. Yeah, that was the other thing we had.
Hi, Lindsay.
We are looking for another word. That was the other thing that I just saw pop up here.
Oh, well, you know what I'm going to say?
What?
Candle.
Candle. Oh, that's good.
That's a good word.
Owl, book, and candle. Those
Owl,
things
book, and candle. Boy, we got some... I wonder if Lindsay will play.
I wonder.
How you doing today, Lindsay? I hope you're good.
She was just stopping in. I just saw her scroll by.
She's busy. That
She's
she
a-
sees any of us
she's
is amazing.
very
She's a busy
busy.
girl.
She was on. Yeah, she was on yesterday. She's taking care of all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
there.
That was a good one on collaboration
Hugs
yesterday.
and love to her. I know she's got a bunch on her plate today.
Yeah, every day. Lindsay
Every
has
day.
a lot on her plate. She's to give you guys so many crafts. So many crafts and
many
paintings.
crafts.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about go see Lindsay for colored pencils because they're like, can you do colored pencil quests? I'm like, I could, but Lindsay's already kind of done it. Go see her. She's so many.
Yeah.
Not colored pencils, it was watercolor pencils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, weird factoid that is not related to gels or mediums.
No.
So-
all right. So owl, book, and candle. Oh yeah, and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share.
That's right.
Thank you to my moderators who remind me. I appreciate it. We do need to.
Natural sand. See, I told you there's one.
wait,
Natural
let's see.
sand. Liquitex natural sand, which is not the same.
Can you put some of that out?
Well, I can put... yes, I can. I have a palette knife. I can put all of it out. I love to peel the little things off. Natural sand, which is not stucco.
Natural sand. I want to see that.
So, I don't know how well it's showing up on... I wish we had an HD camera that was, like, uber close to... Oh, see, now this is even...
Ooh, I'm going to come get that.
Yeah. Oh, and you can kind of see, like, there's some just colored flakes and things in there, maybe, and some stuff. So, you wanna have some fun there? Don't mess with my sand, though, because I use it later. So, and here's what I'm saying, like... This is our tiny jar. I can get this sand in like a gallon jar. Yeah. And we're going to cover each of these effects. But what I'm this is all it is when you're looking at mediums. You're down to mediums and additives. Additives being unpredictable, mediums being wildly predictable. Let's put out some of this Australian sienna, a color y'all know I love, and I'll mix that in. And you can see this really holds its texture. So I can always stain, and then I could paint over the top of this. Right? So I could put out a little beach texture. I could go like this and let it dry. It's going to dry like that. If I go like that, it's going to dry like that. Whatever I do, it's going to do. And it's going to hold. all of these sands and processes, and we're going to talk about that again, they're going to hold. And these companies, and this one, and again, I'm not about just like emptying out your wallet for no reason. And definitely play. I mean, definitely if you're like, I wonder what would happen if I put play sand in this. Go ahead and, put some play sand in it and play with it, because that is literally one of the privileges of art, is just seeing. I mean, like, where in life do you get to be where you can be like, I'm kind of curious about this for no reason.
Yeah.
And just have fun. I mean, not really since the playground do we get to do that. But artists get to do that their whole lives. I think we need another word.
Gotcha. So we have a question here. So Linda was asking, will we be using all these mediums throughout this quest?
I'm going to introduce all these mediums, and my goal for you is that you pick the ones that you're excited about and you're in love with, and you try them. Right? For a group of you, I know right off the bat, interference is going to be your thing, right? The iridescence. For another group of you, I know those slow dry agents, they're going to be your absolute saving grace. I know for some of you, you guys are going to be in we did gessos, right? So we've already covered that.
Yeah.
Some of you, you're going to be like, it was the varnish that unlocked it for me, because I really need to control the finish of my painting, right? For others, you're like, textural painting is my mecca. I want texture, and all the gels were it for me. So that's my goal, is that you guys find the little alchemy at the art store that makes your experience really fun. Like when we do gels, we're going to do the thing where we dry some gel and paint on top, and then we paint with the gel in it, and we look at the difference of those two effects. And how fun is that, right? And then, of course, as many of you guys know, there's gel transfers.
Okay.
Well, because we did a gel transfer. We did a gel transfer kit.
That's right. I like. So some of this is like deeper in art territory than I am. Like so.
Yeah.
Isla asked a question that I didn't understand. I just asked them to restate it. And
Okay.
they're like, no, Cinnamon will understand.
Okay, I'll understand it. I hope so. I got my big art book here anyway, so even if you guys throw me, I can look her up.
So she says, John, acrylic skins made with pouring medium. What do you do with the resulting skins?
Well, so I have an artist friend that does skins with gels and pouring mediums, and they do them on a glass surface that they can pull them, and then they reattach them to canvases, and that's their art. And so here's what the deal is. I'm going to give you some chemistry here. It's totally not qualified to give you, but I actually know it, so I'm going to give it to you. So polymers are these little interlocking balls that have the medium between them, and then as it dries, they interlock, and that's how it basically works. But it's also very heat reactive, and if you add more to it, those will interlock in. So if I have a skin and I say apply a gel medium to the surface where I'm applying it, the skin is going to attach, even though it's not wet. Those surfaces will reseal and rebond.
Interesting.
So you can have fun. And so we can do skins. Another thing, I don't know, my mom will appreciate this, and I have to prep for it because it takes 7 days, 7 anxious days for it to dry. But you can do an incredible finish with pouring medium and a frosting spatula that looks just like you poured resin. Less death. less, I can't pour resin and wait for resin to dry in my studio. It'll take me out. But I can do pouring mediums, and I can show you guys how to do that. That's just something people don't know. A lot of times people don't know about pouring mediums, how they are reactive into wet or dry,
right,
and across different surfaces. And also, I have some very strong feelings on the brands of pouring mediums. Tar versus string, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we're going to be looking at pouring and string, probably on the same quest.
Now, we've touched a bit on glazes.
Yes.
But what about and will we be doing any more glazes in the future?
Yeah, we're going to go into glazes.
And what about retarders?
Yes, that's next. Next week is retarders.
Next week is retarders.
I feel like that's the next thing that you guys urgently need to know about. There's a large segment of you that are just like, I need to slow this paint down, and we're going to look at that and talk about what we can add to our paint and what we can expect. Because here's the thing. If you live in a hot, humid climate, your retarder will not behave the same as if you live in a cool, dry climate.
Okay, that's true. All right, so real quick, we have today's 5 art game words. So far we have had 3, and they are owl, book, and candle. Mm-hmm. And our 4th art word for today
Star.
is star.
Okay.
It's owl, book, candle, and star.
And your quest, your mini quest, is to find. And this can be anything. You can go into the multimedia section and ask about it. You can go. There's a company that's for mixed media. It's Peebo. You can go into there and ask about it. Find if you have something in your art store that you walk by and you just go, "What? What is that? What?" There's always a jar of something when you're like, I don't. For me, it was Micaceous iron oxide.
What?
Yeah.
Micaceous
iron oxide.
I've never
was
even
a
heard of
mystery to me.
What is that?
Well, it is a paint. Golden makes the best version of it, and it has literally iron oxide that is powderized into it, and it dries gray. It mixes very interesting. It creates a sand texture, and you can draw on it with colored pencils.
Huh.
Crazy. Not a medium. It's paint.
Interesting.
But that was my mystery ingredient that went on for years, and then finally was in a workshop, and this lady, that was her abstract art, was really anchored in Micaceous iron oxide. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. I got a jar. I really haven't used it, but I have a jar.
Well, luckily we're going to be doing some quests where you get to play with it.
Yeah. No, it'll come out for the quest, but we have and we're going to talk about here's retarder versus a slow drive versus a flow.
Ah.
See, we have all these. I have such many jars of mystery.
Look
at this giant jar of Micaceous iron oxide.
God.
This is more than I will use in my lifetime.
I was like, golly, man, there's so many of these things. I've been in the store and wondered what's the difference between a glazing and a gel, and so now I'm starting to actually get it.
We're gonna do glazing on one quest. We're gonna do gel on another quest. We're gonna do retarders on another quest. They'll be segmented out because these are big segments of the art store. And here's the thing: not every quest. Maybe you might be like, well, I don't iridescence. I'm not, or maybe glass beads isn't gonna do it for you. But you're gonna know what it is and what it does. Those of you that go through the quest, you'll be like, oh, I know what that is. Mm-hmm. I keep thinking these are going to be short, and then they're never short.
Oh, no. Nobody wants them short either.
No.
So, we've got over 200 people in here, and there's a whole bunch of questions still cruising in.
I'm happy to answer every medium question.
So Michelle's asking, she's already asking about your iron oxide. What do you think about the underpainting with that Micaceous iron oxide?
So what it is it's going to give you a very similar texture to any of these sand mediums. It is a paint. It definitely is a powerful pigment, in that it's really going to, here I'll put some out while we're just playing. It's going to really impact your pigment. And if you have a good colored pencil, that Tombow we were using yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? You can then do some painting. Again, mixed media people, I'm your Mecca, you don't even know. You're going to put that on, you're going to have pencil. You're going to have oil pastel. Any of those types of grease, wax-based pigments will dispense right onto the Micaceous iron oxide and be fairly stable.
Now,
I would still spray varnish.
Yeah. Now,
it dried on me.
I'll come help you there.
Stuck hands.
Do the retarders are retarders and blending mediums the same?
No, a little bit the same, but no, because I have this, and then there's blending gels. So there's some different productization. Yeah, you can shut right up into the thing. You can kind of really see it. Yeah. So it dries almost black, but not quite. And it has this pearlized, naturally clearing kind of glitter to it when it dries. It does look like you just painted stone out on your canvas. And for some of the mixed media artists, it is one of their anchors. It's wonderful stuff. Okay, and I love this. So Golden has such fabulous labels. If I can share this with you. Warning, this product contains a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer. To ensure safety, avoid ingestion, excessive skin contact, and inhalation of spraying mist, sanding dust, and concentrated vapors. First of all, I have this question, which is why just California?
California's the only state required to tell you that.
This is known to California. The rest of the contiguous states are not concerned at all about your safety.
I tell you what, Texas is not concerned about the paint at all.
No, Texas would let you eat it.
Yeah, they're like, yep,
Well,
sure.
you ate paint. You just need to go. So I'm mixing it here with the sand. You can kind of see how that... It does some interesting mixes. So it's a very interesting, non-typical product.
Yeah.
Non-typical product. And again, creates multimedia effects that other things don't create, and known in the state of California to cause cancer. But we're back to the Sherpa tip, which is please don't eat paint.
Don't eat paint.
Just don't eat any of your paint.
Any of your
Don't
supplies,
bathe
really.
in it. I'm going to add don't bathe in it. I was talking to Chris from Golden about the cadmium concerns, right? Because obviously the UE, UA came back and said, no, there's no impact on the environment from the cadmium paints. And I was like, I mean, I grew up with cadmium paint because that was in my mom's thing. Like, how concerned should I be? Because I painted with my whole life. And he's like, well, I wouldn't have finger painted with it. He's like, you shouldn't just like copiously put it on. It was really funny, like the use case. And I just thought to myself, well, that's crazy. And then we saw that video, that guy painting with his tear ducts.
Oh, God, just
And then
squirted
it's
out his eyes.
Right, yeah. It's like, so now I have to add don't snort paint, don't spray paint out your tear ducts, don't throw up paint next to fine art, because there's that guy that throws up paint next to fine art.
Yeah, no.
Just,
No.
I love the art world. I mean, that's like you're just sitting there thinking about what to do with your master thesis in art, and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to upchuck paint next to paintings.
That, it's so...
It's turtles all the way down.
You don't want to comment on it because it has conversation, and therefore it falls in the domain of art because it's conversational and it engages.
It does. I mean, it makes you think. If you see a guy throw up next to the Mona Lisa, you will be thinking about that for a while. It will make you question things.
Why they let him in there.
Also, but you know what? On the same level for me is the stuff where the knitters, the people that wrap everything in the yarn.
Yeah.
Yarners. There's a whole movement of yarning. It's kind of based off Christo's wrapping buildings in fabric.
And that was neat. Giant. I thought that the giant wrapped things were really cool.
So it turtles all the way down in art. And these gels are part of your turtle kit. That's what you're just going, this is part of my turtle kit. This is the beginning of my turtle kit.
Okay, so what I'm totally getting now how, I come from a more comparable world to photographers, right? Because I set all these cameras up and I kind of understand all that
they're
stuff.
a fun
right?
group.
So I noticed, in the world of cameras, those guys, they can, and girls can really fall down technical holes because you can do so much with these things. And I'm finding that these gels, these mediums, these varnishes all have that similar value.
Yeah, Micaceous iron oxide is its own hole.
It's like getting a new lens for a camera.
Because I had to tell you, if you mix this gray and this pink and with any other pigment, it wouldn't do what it's doing here. And it wouldn't dry how it's going to dry.
The layers of this ogre.
The layers of this ogre are many and deep.
Yeah.
Many deep layers. But it shouldn't be intimidating. And I think sometimes what happens is there's this sort of accompanying, due-paying sort of attitude. Well, I managed to get through all the gels and figure it out. And there isn't necessarily always a pay-it-forward kind of attitude like, oh, I'm going to help you, because a lot of times artists' entire careers are based on the fact that they figured out some trick with these gels and mediums, so they're not inclined to share.
Well, I mean, it's
not advantageous to their ability to eat, so they're not inclined to share. If they figured out a way to use string gel in a new way, they're not inclined to share with you because that might be what's selling their booth out at their local art show.
And they probably worked really hard to figure that technique out.
They probably did, so they get to be a little bit cloistered, a little bit secretive.
Yeah, so you kind of understand that when some people is like, I got a studio and you can't come in.
Right, like that first person that figured out how to make the fresco, or that first person that figured out how to make that stucco wall, they didn't want to tell nobody else how to make that stucco wall. That was a really cool wall. Everybody was buying that wall.
Yeah.
So they're like, your stucco wall, your old aged wall looks so awesome. Mm-hmm. My mom is like, I swear she's like the bane of all those people, because she looks at it and she's like, I know how you did it.
Let me show you on my television program.
You just don't want. It's just when she sees your artwork, she's like, got it, check. I know how that was done. She used to be like that with food recipes too. She's like, I know your secret ingredient. It's like her power.
Yeah.
But not fun if you're trying to keep a particular practice to yourself. And the thing is that you can't copyright technique, right? So that's why artists have to protect it too. They have no way to protect it.
Patent it.
No.
Patent process.
You could patent if you made a new chemical.
Yeah, that's true.
And had a new process. But you can't, like, say you figure out something that these all do together. There's no way to patent or protect. So, John, I should be looking at you guys.
We're over here in an engaged debate without you.
An engaged debate without you. Yeah, no, it's like a whole thing, right? It's a whole thing. So, mediums, it's going to be a long quest. But it's going to be worthwhile. And you're going to come out of it knowing what it can take artists decades to learn. Now, listen, you're on YouTube, so anything that I pique your interest in, once you're like, oh, Micaceous iron oxide, I bet if you go search it on YouTube, 55 really good videos show up from other artists who are like, you know, it would be a really good video. I'm going to make one about my Micaceous iron oxide today. So there may be a ton of information, but it's even knowing that it's out there.
Yeah.
Knowing how to use YouTube University to figure it out. Because there's great videos. So a lot of what we might be doing in the quest is getting you excited about something, and then you can drill down on what that does. Right? And go into it and figure it out more and have fun with it. Because there's skins, right? Like gel skins and poured skins. Wow, that's a whole art form.
Well,
that's a whole art form. The skins.
Now I know we're going to be coming to an end here soon. So I got a few more questions.
Okay, I want to get all the questions.
Now, given that we're covering mediums, I
love
think that
these two
Barbara
colors.
has which two colors?
The Micaceous iron oxide, if you look what it did with the yellow and pink, it's like crazy.
It is neat.
It's just bizarre.
All right. So as we're Barbara brought up a really good question, and that is, what mediums do we need the most as your starting artist? So
I put those in the links.
yeah.
There's quick links to them. You don't have to get them there. Those are affiliate links. But basically, I really want you guys to have a gesso.
A gesso.
Because especially if you're doing canvas boards or cheap canvas or paper, gesso can help you get control over your starting point.
Okay.
Right? That's the preparation. So, and a good gesso. And then the next thing I really feel like it's good to have is a heavy bodied gel. Right? And I think I gave you gloss one. I might have given a matte. You do gloss or matte, and that's really about, do you want a shiny finish or a matte finish? And because that's going to help you maybe extend your paint. And remember, that's going to work with gallery acrylic as well as it's going to work with Liquitex. But then it also can give you some body and some stuff as you guys are trying to do different things. And I think every artist should have a tub of gel just around, just in general. And then, of course, the gloss, medium, and varnish. Because the medium, and we saw this earlier, it doesn't have any body to it, but it will extend your paint, and it is a varnish. You know, and then I put the brush in there to help you guys not have streaks until we get to the varnish lesson. Talk even more. It's amazing how much we need to cover varnish. Varnish needs so much covering, but to help you guys finish those pieces. You know, and I'm really hoping we get some mixed media artists in here and some art journaling artists in here because, again, Micaceous iron oxide, how cool would that be in your art journal?
Yeah.
You would just love it. Just be like, everyone like, how'd you get that? You'd be like, I don't know. My secret. Secret.
I think we have an art game. We're art game word. So we have owl, book, candle, star. What should our last word be?
Moth.
Moth. All right, that's a good one. Moth. All right.
Love that you guys are playing our game. I hope it's really
owl,
helping.
book, candle, star, moth. Let's hope that the owl and the moth get along.
Well, owls eat moths. That's
what I'm saying. You know, but
Blendy would eat a moth if he saw a moth. He'd be like, crunch that right up.
Oh, yes. I mean, like,
he'd be like, what is that flying snack? My snack is flying. He'd be so entertained, wouldn't he? He'd just be like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Flying snack. I would like it if my candy flew. That would be entertaining. Are you looking at Blendy?
Well, he's out.
Oh, is he coming out to say goodbye to everybody?
Oh, he can. He was just on the edge of his cage.
He does this thing where he like scratches. He's bored and he wants out. He'd like to adventure now. His tree resting time has ended. You can't get him in any of the mediums though. He can come over and see me, but he can't see any of my mediums. He huffs at you. Yes, he is a dinosaur. You want to come see me? Come see me. Oh, he might not want to come see me. But I am green. He's a gripper. You climb right up my hat. We know you want to. So Blendy has been a great joy in our life. and we are enjoying him. I really loved doing the artwork of him yesterday.
Yeah.
Or his grown self.
Yeah, the big blendy.
He's looking at my flower. He's like, I see the flower, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
He huffs when he's annoyed.
Yeah. He still thinks he's a dinosaur. Every once in a while, he'll rear up and go, "Rawr, I'm a dinosaur." But I'm a small one and I run away.
Oh, small one.
I'm
So Quest.
Quest.
Got the Quest is find something in the art store you're curious about. What has confounded you? What has been a mystery that you'd like solved?
Mm-hmm.
Post that up. Definitely like to. Also, that helps me think about things to do in Quest.
Yep.
Besides, realizing that there's mysteries. I think the most important part of this quest is realizing there's still mysteries to be unraveled in your life.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of exciting
That's
to have
exciting.
mystery in your life. We need that. Everybody needs that. Art game. You can post in the art game on Facebook. You can post it on the Heart Party page or on my personal page or at TheArtSherpa.com. And next week, we're going to get down into how to slow this paint down.
Okay.
Right? And I think I've got some links of some cool stuff in the iCards of other questers. We have some questers on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Is what it is. And so, and they're sharing their quest journey. There's a playlist I have, ArtSherpa inspired videos. What?
Azul asks, can you make canvas from zero? And I'm like,
Can I make canvas from zero?
from scratch. Like, could you make canvas from scratch?
Well, okay.
Not on
yeah.
this channel.
Not on, no. I mean, yes.
We cannot.
Many artists used to have to make their own paint.
Yes.
They had to get their own pigment. They had to trade and barter for their own pigment. They had to create their own paint. They had to make their own brushes. They had to create their own stretchers for canvases, and they had to make their own canvas. So it took like 5 years to do painting.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you have an art store? A lot of like why it took, an artist so long to do painting isn't the work itself was so particularly hard. It's because it was just really hard to have to make the stuff and then paint it.
Yeah.
And then also you had like 15 minutes of actual light in your studio that was workable. There were a lot of challenges. When you take some art history, you're kind of like artists back in the day were some determined pig-headed people.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I think that's where the reputation of artists being crazy and poor came from, is because you'd have to be a particular kind of crazy to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's changing color.
Yeah, he's getting his army green on now. He's feeling a little more.
He's feeling a little bit confident.
Yeah.
He's like, I like this green spot I'm on. It's so good.
Yeah, once he gets a little more comfortable, he brightens up.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially if he's hunting the switchboard. All right. So
So
we're going to see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully some of you guys will call in. We'll post that Google Hangout.
And before you go, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. It makes such a big difference. All of our moderators are out there reminding me, and I appreciate it. But it does make a big difference. It really does.
It really does. And we appreciate it.
We do so much. So, love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Lots of ways to go.